So welcome everyone to the closing day, not the final day, the closing day of the 7 days of rest, where those of us that have participated have really grown in this network of grace. Oh, see, Grace just pops up and there she is. This network of grace, this absolutely beautiful unfurling of this birthing of this understanding of eco-governance, where all parts of the whole are relished and nourished and are serving the greater whole of humanity. I'm Shelley, darling, and it's been my great honor, and it will continue to be, to just be a conduit for connection. And as we're breathing into this good of the whole global heart resonance call this morning with the focus of resting in loving grace, we deepen into this field of co-creative consciousness where the collective is informing the whole of us. And we can begin this morning with just putting our hand on a heart, or both hands on your heart, whatever works for you. And starting this morning in great gratitude for this growing humanity of consciousness and this growing community here, this circle here. And for all of us that are frequency holders for this vibration of home, this place where is safe, people can come and they feel safe, that expansion of belonging, and that liquid, palpable contact where we can just soften our bodies and rest and relax and be nurtured in whatever we're doing. So we're going to start our call as usual with a resonance. So invite everyone to eyes wide open or closed, whatever works for you. And becoming aware of this great sense of light moving down into our physicality, simply amplifying the spectrum of light that exists. We are that. And breathing into, allowing the waters of your breath to inform your body of this great awakening that's happening on the planet. This recalibration and healing of our one waters, of our love and loving intent. We're coming together as planetary stewards. And as this light moves down through our physicality and into the mother, into the earth, and we breathe up and in, taking that big breath, holding it for a moment in that pause, and letting it go. We are this infinity pool of wisdom, love. We are this chalice, this treasure. And just breathing that in and honoring that within our full living system that's fully circulating. Feeling the sacred space of the heart as we open and expand our awareness in full connection with this vast consciousness of all that has ever been before and all that will ever be into this present moment of now. In each breath, in that letting go, we fall deeper into full contact with ourselves. And we give great gratitude this morning for this inspiration for the 7 days of rest and this opportunity to be nurtured, to grow connections, and to expand this grid of light around the planet. As we breathe and we exhale out this time, just breathing that out into all of our loved ones. We call in all aspects of self here this morning, and we open to receive all the information, the celestial information, the terrestrial information, the universal information that informs us for the highest good of the whole. In deep reverence and resonance and unity here this morning. We hold in this circle all those that are really feeling a sense of separation. And we breathe out that presencing of love, unconditional love, understanding, and forgiveness. We hold within this circle of resonance this morning all those who are working with physical challenges. We send them light and love, connection. And we hold this unitive function, this understanding of the whole, of the field herself as she informs us this morning. We give great gratitude for this information as it comes through in a plethora of ways and waves. And we just take one moment more to just feel the balance, this state of grace where we are in full balance as a living whole being. And so it is. Welcome, everyone. Gratitude for the 7 great days of rest that we've been here with. And I'd like to begin this morning with a quote. The universe is a vast field of consciousness, aligning our words with the intention of our heart. Filling the field of consciousness is the greatest thing that we can do. It's a slight adaptation from Deepak Chopra. So, because we're moving from the I to the we space, which came up yesterday. We love that. I want to just hold a specific presencing this morning and just take a breath as I say this, that we're going to hold Julie in the center of this circle as she's actually in surgery as we are in circle this morning. So just breathe and know that she's being fully cared for, and we as this vessel are holding that space of optimal healing and quick recovery. So as we come to this oasis this morning, and as we rest in loving grace, we tap into these song lines of our heart. It's one of my most favorite concepts, experiences, the song line of the heart. We're learning to track the song line of our individual heart and of our collective heart. And with that, these few guidelines, and I'm going to sort of encourage one especially this morning. So speaking 1 to 2 minutes, and we have opportunity to share a little bit more this morning. So we could even say 1 to 3 minutes this morning. And to listen and feel into that thread of grace that's moving and weaving this beautiful wisdom. And speak to the whole. And this morning, I'm really going to invite, this is part of this like resonance training, this consciousness of where we track out and we get really, we hear something that really exhilarates us. And all of a sudden we have this recognition. And what happens is, like, imagine yourself, and even though we're in a square quilt here on Zoom, imagine us in a circle. And we want to speak to the center of the circle, that we're understanding we are the whole, this home frequency. And it isn't about one particular person or what we think they're giving to us. It is this living, flowing wave of experience. So the encouraging piece, it used to be called crosstalk, where we just all of a sudden we're in this circle and then we just focus on one person, and you'll watch all the energy goes to that one person, even here on Zoom. And there's a real powerful difference when we experience what's being shared as a presencing of the field herself. Call it higher consciousness, call it source consciousness, whatever you want. So I want people this morning to be aware of when that tendency tends to happen, because immediately we leave. It's actually what's happening is an experience of separation. Because all of a sudden I think someone has more information than me, or they're better than me, or they're more lovable than me. It's actually a separation in those belief structures. So here we're inviting that shift. So as an example, if someone says something that really pops something for you, and you're feeling to carry that thread forward, see if you can carry it forward in a way that is just weaving that thread. So you're speaking from your full presence, the I space. How is that sharing, expanding your consciousness in the moment, in the present moment? So we'll be playing more with this as we move forward and go to the whole, but I just wanted to encourage people to listen for how you can share that thread as a living experience and not making it about somebody else, and keeping that encircled frequency, that home frequency. So taking a beautiful breath. I'm going to just begin. Excuse me for 1 minute. I just got to grab something here. Aha, got it. Okay. So honoring the 7th day of the 7th day of rest, I'll read this share into the circle, and then we'll just open the circle. And he and she are blessed with grace, and bless with grace the wholeness. They came from there to leave their roots, forget their source, and then return with grace. The time has come of this return, compassion found, a healing ground. For giving life's embrace, where all have space to live and love and learn the pathway of generosity and gratitude and grace. So this morning, Songlines of the Heart, really holding this experience of these 7 days in wonder. What are the insights that you've gained? How has that deepened your sacred relationship with self and other and the earth and the planet and the earth and the trees and the water? And feeling the gratitude of this journey together in service, this reciprocity of the heart, and applying that wisdom to the now moment. To this now moment here. So with that, this beautiful crystalline virtual talking stick is available. And the pause in between, that liminal space where that information comes, that the new fibers, that actually what it is, it feels like the new fibers, the fabric of the field herself as her song to us. So with that, much love and grace, and I'm complete and whole and home.
We are feeling more connected and more excitement in this transition from me to we.
In the past 7 days, I've been working with the 7 chakra sisters, moving up our levels of consciousness. And in the heart, the balancer moves us into the awareness of it's not about me from the lower chakras, but she's the connector. It's about we. And it's about our spiritual essence merging with our ego that lives on the earth plane. So when I hear moving from me to we, it's exactly what we're doing. We're expanding. I feel this expansion from the work that we do individually to that larger circle, to the larger circle, to the larger circle. The 7 days of grace has allowed me to connect with people and circles that I see and that I don't see, but I know that we're there. We're doing it. It's as if this circle right here is holding that space for everyone who's not in this circle right here. And so that multiplies the love that's pouring out. This magnifies it, knowing that whatever we do, as one individual, we're one note in this symphony, this song, this heart song, this line that is adding to the beauty of the entire piece, like the stitch in the tapestry or the note in the symphony. So I've gained the insight of the 7 days of week, 7 days, 7 days in the week of rest, 7 days of rest, that life is a flow, a continuum, a joining together with our voices in circle, a letting go and doing our own work during the day, coming back and going back, but there's never a separation. There's a stronger thread of connection, so that when we're not in circle like this, and we pull away and we're with our families or doing our things or whatever we're doing, we are still woven together, woven through the heart. I have great gratitude for what the 7 days of rest has offered. An opportunity for people to tap into something that's been growing and growing, and now we're really making those connections, and even more so. So it's a beautiful symphony that I hear playing. Thank you for each one of your notes. I'm not getting personal. Just listening and being in the we space with much love and gratitude. And I am complete and whole and home. Can't get away from it.
This starts out a little personal. 5 years ago, I went from we to me and thought, how am I ever going to do this? And so now I think of it from me, capital M, smaller e, from capital W, smaller e, to capital M, smaller e, to capital W, capital E. And it's this expansive we, and it's a circle, and it's wonderful. And this past 7 days has helped me. Although I was arriving there, I feel kind of more arrived. And I'm grateful for this capital W, capital E. Thank you. I'm complete.
I would like to follow the thread of flow. Following the flow of her is pretty dynamic for me too, and for all of us. And the beginning of the week, I did say a couple times, this isn't feeling restful. 7 days of rest is wearing me out. And as the week progressed, I realized that my old me version of rest was tied into who I was for 45 years of coming home with jet lag collapsing, and my version of rest was checking out until I could feel my body again. And as the week went on, and Shelley said it a couple times, and I started going, not rest, restore. Restoration. Restoration. So I finally like, okay, this is clicking. And I run to look up things. Returning to wholeness. That's what restoration is. And I realized this is really rest, coming into this dynamic space of energy. I do feel rested. My sleep is deeper, and I'm waking up refreshed because of this rest. And linking that all with the we of everyone, it reminds me of a mantra that I use when I'm doing healing work. And I say it when I'm doing personal healing and when I do it for others is, I am well in every cell, and or you are well in every cell. And I feel the dynamic connection as I realize every day, oh, this idea started in Jerusalem. Oh, this is all over the world. This grid, this mesh is global. And we are well in every cell, and we are restored to our wholeness. And I'm complete.
This returning to wholeness is very meaningful, and it really taps into what matters the most into this living system. It's funny, last night I don't know how this happened, but I decided I was going to go play and had to drive an hour to get where I needed to go. And I thought, wonder what happened to all those CDs, because I have this car. I was thinking, I should listen to some music on the way out, because I just felt like I needed some extra boost. And I just decided in my mental head that it was impossible, because everything was in storage. I just moved in, and I went and I opened this one cabinet, and all of a sudden the CDs fell out. And within that group was a lot of past song lines that had interwoven in my own heart, relationships and songs that were connected to those relationships. And then inside of this batch was this astrological reading that I had done the day after my birthday in 2005. And, when these moments show up, it was so meaningful in terms of how the grace moves through us and as us and shows up as individuals and friends and relatives or circumstances. And this particular experience was very powerful, because in listening to it on the way home last night and finishing right before this call, I had this wider awareness, which is what I feel like has been happening on these 7 days of rest, this widening of consciousness within this being, and that recognition of this wholeness, and having just a peekaboo inside of this journey of, God, this is 2018, so that's 13 years since that reading. And to see the journey, to see the shifts, and at the same time to feel that birthing intention of or shared intention of our being to come into that greater sense of wholeness, no matter who we are, is the sort of viral thread of our consciousness, that we come together and we support each other in this grace of love and understanding and wholeness, that return to wholeness, that remembering of the beauty and the love and the truth of who we are, and what really matters, this interconnection with what I feel the the vibrational field that this 7 days has been holding, and in this new word in my vocabulary, eco-governance, where we're so aware and so deeply listening to all aspects of creation. So I'm really grateful to come here and having these threads being woven together here this morning as an act of grace. As an act of grace. With that, I'm complete.
There's a word that keeps reverberating in my head. It started at the beginning today, and the word was intimacy. And when there was a time when I was breaking down words because I was hearing the notes between the letters, between the words, and my thesaurus and my dictionary became best friends. But intimacy, what came from the higher understanding is into me see. Into me see. See what's on the inside of me, and then we are intimate. And there's been this miraculous ability to have intimacy in the midst of a global event. So many things happening that I know will keep expanding through 2018, more people coming in. And not feeling overwhelmed because it's global, it's so big, it's so huge. It's this intimacy that makes that we can embody. It sort of comes down to the microcosm of the me, this being, that is living and swimming and flowing inside the we. It's very intimate to feel that we are this connected with so many people that we know only on a soul and energetic level. We don't even know their names. We don't know where they live or what they do. But the intimacy brings us into this space of knowing. Just know that we are shining brighter. We are awakening more fully. That we are taking the next evolutionary steps, whatever that might mean. Individually, it is affecting the we. So I'm thankful for the intimacy, for all of the work that's happening that I might know about or I don't know about. But I trust that. There's an intimacy with me and God, the goddess, the intelligence, the higher intelligence. There's an intimacy. It's just so precious. I'm complete.
Taking a momentous pause here. If anyone else wants to jump in, but I'm really blissed out in this moment because I didn't say it, but that whole reading was about greater intimacy. And I love how this intelligent organism that we're calling good of the whole, or the mothership, or, you know, someone asked me this morning, someone discovered that I was a dowser, and they were asking me these questions on Messenger this morning, and she was having this experience of separation and not trusting herself, and as she was speaking, I felt she was just an aspect of myself, and I was talking to myself, love letters to ourself, you know, like in speaking to her and sharing this experience of this growing intimacy that's been going on for my whole life and for all of our lives. So it was so powerful. And another piece that came through it just happened within moments. I had shared the 7 days of rest with some people that were wanting to become friends on Facebook. And I always kind of look at who they are and tap into who they are as much as I can. And I love that what was being shared is this experience of intimacy, even on some global experience, you know, virtual. And she was kind of a warrior woman, and she was really upset with, it wasn't so much me, whatever that resistance was of her idea of new age virtual love-ins or whatever. And she wrote it to me. She was really upset. You know, I don't like this. I don't believe in this. And it was so incredible to have that moment of intimacy and share exactly what we're having this experience, that it's simply about a choice of love and returning to love and choosing love over fear. And therefore not needing to be resistant to the resistance. You know what I mean? It's like the anger is only that resistance to our own power and where we feel unempowered. And so for me, I just love this thread or the fabric of this experience that is being shared, because we can have a very deep, intimate experience with each other, not knowing all of our stories. You know, like, I don't want to hear, you know, like, oh my God. So anyway, to that. So I'm just feeling really in deep gratitude and receivership of what's being gifted to us here this morning. It's really powerful. And I'm complete.
Shanti Heard again. Following that thread of coming up against resistance, I had a conversation with someone last night, and I was sharing something about a book that based on something that they had said earlier, I thought, oh, this might be something that they would like. And the reaction was, well, I'm not that person, and that book isn't going to make me be that person. And I was like, well, I'm not asking you to read this book and model this. I'm thinking it might be a perspective that would enhance what you had said. And then he said, well, someone already recommended that book to me. I laughed. I thought, oh, I'm not the only one that's picking up on this, that this is the missing link for what you're talking about. And so then when you mentioned the resistance and that person on Facebook and coming across with a little bit of anger. I think we're perceiving it as that they're angry. I think that they're so afraid, they feel so threatened by the we. The we is, we know how amazing and bright light it is. And they're afraid that if they don't cling to that me, that they won't exist anymore. They haven't yet understood that you won't really exist until you embrace the we, because then you'll find your wholeness of who you truly are. And right now you're clinging to sort of an illusion of who you believe that you are. And I think it's good to always remember that we're not always who we perceive ourselves to be. I'm complete.
We are more powerful collectively than we are as an individual. And collectively, this loving energy opens a portal into this global consciousness. And we're feeling that deep gratitude for being these loving stewards of holding this consciousness of love portal for all to share as we model this in our lives.
I'm sitting here in this field of the miraculous with another insight to my own resistance. One of the revolutionary agreements is to look within when I react. There's a tendency to separate. We have the answers. They don't get it yet. And I feel that this miraculous field is pulling us almost like a beautiful dark hole. It's pulling us into the space of we are all we. There is no they. Whatever level anyone's at. And so I find whatever's going on inside this me is the we. And if I'm resistant to anything, that's not contributing to the flow. So I want to be the space between the boulders and the water, or the log that falls down, or the dam that comes. I want to be that space in between that allows the understanding of we to flow, keep flowing.
I love that we're holding this awareness of both the resistance and the opening. That it's a whole system. We are whole system beings. And we're just coming into greater understanding. And I love the word modeling. It's a little bit different than teachers, and teachers are important. But we're modeling this, how this frequency can heal us as a whole. And I think it feels like, to me, the resting is in that trust of what was just being called as the field of the miraculous, or the unified field, or the unified heart field, whatever we want to call it. The resting, the grace comes from this acceptance and acknowledgement that I am that flow that was just being described. The flow in between. I'm all of it. I'm the rock. And I was just chuckling because I don't know, it's almost like sometimes you just don't go, what's going on here? Because I remember when I started to really do this inner work, as was being shared, this place where what I call self-referentiality, where I own my own construct. I own my own, all the patterns and how they show up, and I love them. I learned to love them. I learned to understand. I came in with the absolute consciousness to create this return to love. I mean, it's pretty simple. And I remember I swear, the day I decided to go, okay, I've had enough with the way I'm living my life, and I'm choosing to create that, be on a transformational journey. It was a real decisive moment. And it was a moment when I was with a boyfriend that wasn't really a healthy relationship. And a didgeridoo, I'm just flashing, the didgeridoo, he was a didgeridoo maker, and there were all these didgeridoos, and I tripped over one because he had left it on the floor. And I remember that day he was screaming and yelling at me, and I'm thinking, am I an idiot? What am I doing? He's caring more about the friggin' didgeridoo than me. And then I had to go into a room by myself, take a breath, feel my own support system, which was very nil for myself, and go and tap into that value that I had to become that own model for myself, and choosing this transformational journey. And I remember the day that I went to the very first training, and I was completely resistant. Even though I had signed up, I called them and said I wasn't coming and I'm not doing this, and all that resistance showed up. And on the very first day I walk in, and I get handed this little booklet that says, "You're not who you think you are." Like that same thing, that perspective that you might be coming from may not so be true. And I got really pissed off because I was going, you're already starting with a double negative. That doesn't work for me, and it was that me that was like, holy crap, I'm going to die. And that's really the essence. I'm going to die if I stay here. I'm going to die. I'm going to experience a death. And when you take that thread all the way back, that's the greatest fear. It's like, I'm going to die. That death. And so part of this 7 days of grace, in this moment with this encapsulated whole here, I just feel like I feel the tickling of consciousness as it comes to us, that we can, angels fly because they take themselves lightly. I think this is a real message as we move into 2018, is just to become more of those light beings. Watch the universe weave it so that we can get it in a delicious way. And I feel like this particular energy gathering is really a symposium of whole system consciousness working at the most potent and highest level, because we don't have to go through 10 years of therapy anymore. We just need to place ourselves in this field where there is that modeling of of creation happening with so much joy and so much love that we just, if we can just relax into it, it will, I think someone said earlier, permeate our being so that we remember and we relax, and we're being restored in that field of herself. And that's why we call it the mothership. You know, it's that docking station where we just, all we got to do is dock ourselves. And I'm chuckling about one last thing, which is, I remember, this was being shared, how we are being pulled into our highest potential. And that training that I was speaking about was called the Mother Wave at the time. And it was really coming into an understanding that that mothering frequency is calling us home. And with that, I'm complete.
Didgeridoo, didgeridoo. And I'm looking at the beautiful statue behind you of Kuan Yin, goddess of compassion, who I have felt has been in this circle all this for this entire call. And it does tie a thread from what we've been discussing of that compassion is an important element as we shift our perspective of who we are and who the world is. And it always reminds me of reading of indigenous cultures that when someone makes a big mistake or even a little mistake, but something that needs to be addressed and acknowledged, the tribe encircles the person who made the error, surrounds them, and then they take turns in the circle telling that person what they love about them, what they appreciate about them, acknowledging who they are, giving them, because their attitude is, well, if you made a mistake, you just lost your perspective for a minute of who you really are, and we see you in your grace, in your wholeness. And I'm complete.
So I'd like to give a moment for those that haven't shared, if they feel like they would like to bring their voice and presence themselves. And we're going to end this call with a little ceremony, as is being encouraged in the 7 days of rest, and that, honoring that. So with that, I'm complete, and just hold it open for any last bits of exquisite sharing.
Exquisite sharing. Hi, this is Elizabeth. Wow. There's so much incredible sharing that to find the words it's difficult. And for those who really know me, they'd say, well, that's impossible because Elizabeth never shuts up. So, you know, that heart, compassion. I, you know what's so funny is that I work in a heart unit as a heart nurse, and I have no difficulty being in my heart space when I'm with my heart patients. It's when I'm with the rest of the world that then I seem to separate, because I have to be so in my brain, because I work in critical care. So then I tap into this rest period when I don't work, and it takes me a little while, and then I get to come back into the heart space. So this 7 days of rest for me, which happened to be just during 7 days off, so it was like, okay, there's something here that I need to tap into. And I'm very grateful I did at 9:58 on day one, click on your link. I didn't know why I was clicking, and there I was in my full-blown first day of rest, looking at myself going, oh my God. And now on the 7th day, that, oh my God, it's still there, but I've tapped into a thread of acceptance and non-judgment. That place where all these emotions are not me. That place where all these emotions are the little me, but not the, not, they're like to be reconciled and to be accepted and to be whole. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So as we take this spiral of love even higher, and with our gratitude and the grace of this experience, there's no ending. It's a closure of this experience, but it moves forward. And so actually, it's funny, tomorrow's Monday here in the United States anyway. So the heart resonance call will continue and will grow. And so just make sure, for those of you who are listening that are being touched by this experience that was just being shared, about that, tapping into that deeper thread of acceptance and non-judgment, that you go to goodofthewhole.com or on Facebook, Good of the Whole Community, which we've made it a new Facebook group because we felt it was really important that everybody can share their expression there of the experience, this experience of wholeness. And so we just take a pause and, in a sense, take flight from this call. Really feel that sense of flight, that wave of the mother consciousness, that divine feminine consciousness pulling us as a collective into our highest potential. So taking a pause, and we don't have necessarily candles to light, but just to see the center of this circle, and that collectively we're bringing our light to the center of this circle, and it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. and more people are feeling supported and are coming together. And what no longer serves that light just simply dissipates easily, effortlessly. And that we come from this great knowing of that light as us, as within and without. And we just consciously breathe that light out, expanding our own auric field, this auric field of this circle, out to those that we love, out to those that we've had resistance with, out to our community. And we know the winds of grace just carry this forward with whomever we touch. And then we breathe back in as it comes back around from the center back to our own sacred chamber of the heart. Just take a moment of gratitude for how we're showing up, how each and every person is really doing their best. Sometimes it takes a little nudging, and sometimes the nudging is more than just a little nudge. And we give great gratitude to Shelley Ostroff and Jan Golding and all those that have interplayed, all of us who have played in this field together, with a great knowing that its inevitable evolution is that it expands and widens and continues. This beautiful continuum. We take 3 very deep and wide and breaths together. I'm just sending that down into the mother and up to the heavens. And then we unmute ourselves, everybody, and we do this great symphony of yum and let it ripple out through the web, through Indra's net. Yum.
Yum. Yum, 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 yum.
Everyone who joined us, we'll see you here again, possibly even tomorrow, so stay connected. We'll let you know, but we will continue this weekly. Mwah. Blessings to all.
Gratitude, gratitude.